What is this strange wooden mechanism with a trigger? Is it an ancient weapon or something else? Why is it chained and mounted on a massive stand? Answer. In front of you is a real flintlock trap gun, which was used in the 18th and 19th centuries. This device is also known as a spring gun or an alarm gun. At first glance, it may seem like an old gun, but in reality, it is a self-propelled trap designed to automatically fire when someone attempts to enter the property. This device was often placed at the edge of a property, near a barn, or even in a forest, and was connected to a tension rope or wire that was stretched across a path. As soon as someone touched it, it would fire. The mechanism worked instantly. The flint struck a spark, the gunpowder ignited, and the bullet flew out of the barrel. Sometimes, instead of a bullet, a blank charge was used to scare away animals or signal to the hunter, but more often, it was a live bullet. Notice the heavy wooden base, which is not accidental. The trap was securely fixed in place to prevent the recoil from dislodging it. The chain visible on the left is another way of attaching to fixed objects, such as trees or stakes. These traps were used by farmers, hunters, and sometimes smugglers. In some countries, they were later banned due to their high danger and deadly consequences, even for bystanders. Today, this artifact is a rare antique found in private collections and museums related to the history of weapons or settlers' daily lives. So, despite its humble appearance, this is a real example of how people in the past protected their property and survived in the wild. What is this strange device with giant funnels? Why does the man seem to be listening to the sky? Is it some kind of old scientific equipment or a weapon? In fact, what you're looking at is an acoustic locator, an early precursor to modern-day radar. This device was used before and during World War I, as well as at the beginning of World War II, to detect the approach of enemy aircraft by listening to the sound of their engines long before they became visible. The concept was simple yet ingenious for its time. Large cones amplified sound, and a person standing inside the structure would wear special headphones to receive directional sounds from each direction. By turning the device and comparing where the noise was louder, it was possible to determine the direction and approximate range of a flying aircraft. These devices were used, for example, to protect coastal areas in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Japan. However, with the development of radar technology in the 1940s, they quickly became obsolete and were retired. Today, these devices are historical artifacts that remind us of humanity's attempts to hear war long before the advent of radar. What is this thing? It perfectly fits in each other, and there was some sort of liquid in it. The photo shows a mini grinder, a pocket-sized device designed to grind dry herbs, most commonly cannabis. It consists of two metal halves that fit perfectly together. Inside, there are sharp, diamond-shaped teeth evenly spaced around a circular base. When the two halves are connected and rotated in opposite directions, the plant material is crushed into a fine powder. Such grinders are especially popular among users of herbal blends. The crushed raw material burns more evenly, evaporates better, and is more economical. The presence of liquid inside may indicate that the grinder has recently been used to grind fresh or resinous plants, which can release juice that sometimes remains in the chamber. Some grinders are equipped with additional sections, such as sieves and compartments for collecting powdered particles, KIF, but in this case, it is a simple metal model. Compact, convenient, and almost invisible to the uninitiated. Found in my dad's toolbox. No idea what they are, he's a carpenter. The photo shows a pair of vacuum nipple pumps, usually used not in the plumbing and construction industry, but in the field of intimate or medical practices. Despite the fact that they were caught in a toolbox, these are not professional carpentry or carpentry equipment at all. The device works simply. It creates a vacuum inside the cylinder due to a screw or piston mechanism, while the skin or sensitive area placed inside is retracted and increases in volume due to blood flow. It is sometimes used for medical purposes, for example, to stimulate blood circulation. From the outside, it may look like it's part of a pump, sealing tool, or laboratory device, especially given the transparent body and rubber base. However, the characteristic shape and principle of operation clearly indicate its real purpose. Dear friends, there are many videos on this topic on my channel. Subscribe and like them to know when the videos will be released. My parents and I found this in our backyard this morning. The sign says, "Do not enter the poison gas," on a round concrete thing. What could it be? Here is an extended confirmation based on the photos. The presented images show real septic tank covers, very similar to the one you found in your yard. Their appearance, concrete or plastic discs with a diameter of 40 to 70 centimeters, is the standard for autonomous sewage systems. Inscriptions such as poison gas, do not enter, or sewer are mandatory warnings. They warn about the accumulation of methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide, which accumulate inside the septic tank during the decomposition of waste. Even a short-term inhalation can cause poisoning or loss of consciousness. Whole recessed covers on the lawn often go unnoticed, especially if the site is new or inherited with the house from previous owners. In one of the photos, it is clearly visible how the cover almost blends into the grass, but at the same time remains the most important technical element. Typical septic tank design: the lid covers the shaft leading to the primary chamber of the septic tank, where the waste settles and the liquid flows through a partition into the drainage system. This is shown in schematic diagrams and real photos with open lids. What this proves: this lid is not just a concrete circle, but an element of an engineering system that requires regular maintenance. The inscriptions serve not only to intimidate, but also to warn about a real threat to life. This is important to remember, especially if there are children on the site. All photos confirm that this is a septic manhole, and not a well, a gas valve, or a technical hood. What is this thing? Found it clearing out my great-grandfather's loft. Here is an abridged and condensed version of the text, preserving the key facts, interest, and historical value. This is the MG42, one of the most legendary machine guns of World War II, developed in Germany in 1942. It gained fame for its incredible rate of fire, capable of producing up to 1,200 rounds per minute, as well as its high reliability and ease of maintenance. Its distinctive sound earned it the nickname Stormwind, as it was both intimidating and recognizable on the battlefield. Why it is important: air power. The MG42 could literally stop an attack with a wall of fire. Simplicity and reliability. It was easy to disassemble and worked in any conditions. A mass production. It was cheaper and faster to manufacture than its predecessor, the MG34. What can be seen in the photo? The photo shows a part of the MG42's design with ventilation holes on the barrel, which were used for cooling. Corrosion and age of parts indicate the authenticity and historical significance of the find. If this is your great-grandfather's weapon, it may be a valuable artifact, both for a museum and for a personal collection. Be sure to show the find to specialists for accurate identification. Never try to use or repair; it can be dangerous. The MG42 is not just a weapon, but a symbol of the engineering power of its time. If you have an original piece in front of you, you are holding a real piece of history in your hands. What is this tube full of balls in the wall in a home built in the mid-90s? What is this strange tube with balls inside the wall? This is a termite activity indicator, a device that may seem mysterious but plays an important role in protecting your home from pests. It is a passive termite monitoring system that was installed during the construction phase or as part of preventive measures in the 1990s. Here's how it works. Inside the tube, there is a cellulose or wooden rod that acts as a bait for termites. Above the rod, there are balls, including a green signal ball that can be seen through the outer panel. As long as the termites don't touch the tree, everything stays in place. But as soon as the pests start eating the bait, the rod loses its strength, and the balls gradually settle down. The disappearance of the green ball from the visible window signals that termite activity is detected in the wall. Why all this? In order not to wait for the pests to destroy the supporting structures, the device allows you to notice the problem first and cause disinfection. Such systems are especially popular in areas with an increased risk of wood contamination. My brother found this missile in the woods in Tennessee, and I told him to run as far away as possible, because this missile-like object might not be defused and could be dangerous to him. The photo shows a massive object that strongly resembles a ballistic missile, lying abandoned in the forest. In terms of shape, tail fin, and dimensions, it indeed resembles the MGR-1 Honest John, an unguided tactical missile developed by the US in the 1950s to deliver a nuclear or conventional warhead up to 30 kilometers. Such missiles were actively used during the Cold War, and later they were often demilitarized and installed as training models or monuments. What could it actually be? 1. Training layout. 90% of it is exactly it. For training of Army units, full-size blanks were created, often identical to real combat missiles from the outside, but without internal equipment and of course without a warhead. Some such layouts after decommissioning ended up in warehouses, museums, or even in private collections. 2. A left-behind exhibit. It is possible that this rocket was part of an exhibition, monument, or museum installation, and was later discarded or taken to the forest. The peeling paint and rust indicate that it has been exposed to the elements for a long time. 3. A potentially dangerous object. While it is unlikely, it is possible that the rocket still contains internal components. Any remaining fuel or old explosives, especially in a rundown state, can be unstable and dangerous. What should you do in such a situation? Do not approach or touch it. Even if it is a model, it is better to be cautious. Inform the authorities. It is better to play it safe and provide the coordinates of the discovery to the local sheriff or security department. They will call in experts who will determine its origin and safety. Such discoveries are rare and incredibly interesting from a historical perspective, but they must be handled with extreme care. I commute to work, and the guy in front of me put this up. While this was up, he was watching something on this phone and had headphones on. At one moment on phone in the suitcase seemed to turn on, displaying the Samsung Galaxy symbol. Nothing more happened. The photo shows an unusual suitcase with a number of mobile phones neatly attached inside on a special panel. These devices are used for monitoring cellular networks and are portable stations for testing the coverage, speed, and quality of various mobile operator signals. Each phone is connected to a system that collects data on signal strength, interference levels, download speeds, and other technical specifications. This information is used by telecommunications companies to create accurate coverage maps or analyze their competitors. The fact that one of the phones showed the Samsung Galaxy logo most likely means that it was rebooted or turned on during the measurement process. The device owner was likely just monitoring the process or running scripts remotely while doing other things with their headphones on. These devices are often found on trains, especially on intercity routes where it is important to assess the stability of the signal along the journey. Fell from the sky, made 15-foot hole, metal object about 3 feet long, 30 kilograms. This photo captures the moment when a massive metal object, presumably fallen from the sky, is being removed from the ground. According to eyewitnesses, the object weighs around 30 kilograms, is approximately 90 centimeters long, and has left a crater up to 15 feet deep. The object has an elongated, angular shape, with noticeable signs of melting or deformation at the edges. Such discoveries are often associated with space debris, such as fragments of satellites, rocket stages, or spacecraft that do not fully burn up upon re-entry into the atmosphere. The angles, smooth curves, and dense metal indicate that it may have been an element of thermal insulation or a fastening structure designed to withstand overloads and extreme temperatures. Interestingly, such objects are often found in rural areas, where their fall goes unnoticed until the presence of a crater or a random discovery draws attention. Given its appearance and weight, it is unlikely to be a part of a munition, but rather falls into the category of aerospace debris, a testament to the invisible yet constant activity above our heads. Medal found in my Nana's belongings. Written on the back is the Great War for Civilization. This medal is a genuine historical relic. Here is the Victory Medal, established following the results of the First World War. On its reverse is engraved, The Great War for Civilization 1914 to 1919, the Great War for Civilization. It was awarded to members of the British Empire and Allied forces who took part in the war between August 5, 1914 and November 11, 1918, as well as in a number of subsequent operations until 1920. What is depicted? The obverse features a figure of victory, in the ancient Greek style, symbolizing peace and triumph. The reverse shows a wreath of glory and an inscription emphasizing the ideological significance of the war as a struggle for civilization. The medal was part of a triad awarded to British soldiers, the 1914 or 1914-15 Star, the British War Medal, and the Victory Medal. These awards were often popularly called Pip, Squeak, and Wilfred, by analogy with the popular comic book characters of those years. This find is not just metal, but a warm reminder of personal history, honor, and memory. Nuclear shelter, suicide booth? What is it actually? The photo shows an automatic public toilet from JCDecaux, one of the ones that are installed in European cities as part of the city's infrastructure. This is a rotary outdoor toilet, known for its self-cleaning mechanism. It looks like a futuristic cabin or even a suicidal booth from science fiction, which often causes confusion among passers-by. Here's how it works. When a user exits, the door automatically locks, and the cabin rotates into cleaning mode. The internal surfaces are cleaned with detergents, dried, and then the toilet is ready for the next visitor. This ensures high hygiene and convenience with minimal staff involvement. This device is particularly popular in tourist-heavy cities or at Christmas markets, as is likely the case with this photo, which shows the Christmas decorations and wooden stalls in the background. Found in my backyard in East Nashville, Tennessee. Looks like an arrowhead. I hope it's not poisoned. What's the point of this sharp arrowhead? You are holding an arrowhead or spearhead, most likely made by Native Americans, perhaps by the peoples who inhabited what is now Tennessee long before the arrival of Europeans. This artifact is carved from stone, most commonly flint or obsidian, using the chipping technique, an ancient technology that requires great skill. Note the symmetrical shape, the point, and the small protrusions at the base, known as notches or ears, which allowed for secure attachment of the tip to a wooden shaft using sinew or plant fibers. These artifacts were used for both hunting and combat, and they may have been an essential part of a hunter's arsenal thousands of years ago. The discovery of this item in East Nashville is not a mere coincidence. This region was part of a vast cultural zone inhabited by the Mississippian culture and its predecessors. The tip can be dated to both prehistoric and early historical periods, ranging from 500 to 5,000 years ago. It is a true fragment of the past, preserved in the earth, and a silent witness to human ingenuity. This thing my friend found in the water, what's it doing here? The photo shows a corroded metal statuette found near the water. This is likely a representation of Olakan, one of the most mystical and revered spirits in the Santeria religion and the Yoruba tradition. Olakan is the lord of the depths of the ocean, the realm of secrets, wealth, and the dead. He is often depicted with feminine or androgynous features, holding a mask in one hand, a symbol of the hidden and unknown, and a snake in the other, a sign of power, transformation, and wisdom. Such figures are often placed in water, in bowls, ceramic vessels, or directly in the sea. They live there permanently, absorbing the power of the element. It is believed that Olakan responds to requests through water, which is why the figurines eventually become rusted, covered with salt, and even intentionally released into the ocean as part of a ritual of exchange or gratitude. The object that was found may have been part of such a ritual. An old figure that had served its purpose was respectfully returned to the sea, to become part of its mysteries, from which it had once come. These lead blocks were found in a UK river, 125 g each. Can anyone positively identify them? The photo shows mysterious lead cubes covered with symbols and numbers. These artifacts are not industrial or technical objects. Based on the distinctive square grids with numbers and symbols resembling Sanskrit or Devanagari, they appear to be magical squares or yantras used for religious or esoteric purposes, most commonly in Hinduism or tantric practices. A magic square is a grid in which the sum of the numbers in the rows, columns, and diagonals is the same. They are found in various cultures, but are particularly revered in India and Tibet. These metal cubes are often used as amulets, protective talismans, or charms placed in homes, altars, or even buried in the ground to ward off evil forces. Devanagari-like inscriptions may contain mantras, names of gods, astrological symbols, or numerical codes with supposed mystical power. The material, lead, is symbolically used in purification and protection rituals, particularly in water rituals. The fact that they were found in a river suggests a possible ritual of release or initiation. It is possible that someone intentionally dropped them into the water as part of a spiritual practice related to purification, curses, or requests for protection. Such items are very rare in Europe, especially in the UK, and may be either modern ritual objects or rare imports from the East. I keep seeing this little box on many different cars in my neighborhood. It looks like some sort of lockbox. The dealer lockbox, is a special box used by car dealerships, insurance agents, and service centers to store car keys directly on the vehicle. This box is attached to the window using a metal hinge and has a code or Bluetooth lock. Why do you need it? Access without the owner's involvement. The key can be left in the box, and any employee of the dealership or customer can open it and gain access to the vehicle upon prior agreement. A test drive and inspection, used to simplify access to the vehicle when it is frequently moved between customers and employees. Security. Instead of hiding the keys in the cabin or with the driver, they are securely locked in a steel case with a code. Popular in the United States and Canada, especially in car dealership parking lots and when selling cars through online platforms. So if you see these boxes often in your neighborhood, it's likely that there are cars from a car dealership nearby, either for rent, maintenance, or sale. Thank you for watching. Write in the comments which items are unclear to you, and I will be happy to explain them. Please like and subscribe to the channel.